sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. That's about the extent of my musical aptitude. But when things are bad, there are some people who do good things. And this is what I want to kind of talk about today. There's a lot of good things being done in the middle of these dark times. I've seen it in my community. I'm sure you've heard about some of this cool stuff. I'm going to talk about the gaming community and some of the cool things that are kind of nice to think about as far as not worrying about the insanity currently going on outside. So let's cover some of these stories because these are some pretty good stories that I want to talk about. First is something that was that's been around for a little over a week now. Blizzard sent home supplies and care packages to their staff, and they didn't have to do this, but they did. And the other thing they didn't have to do, and that they're still doing, is they're continuing to pay janitorial and security and cafe staff their standard wages, despite the fact that most of them aren't working. So this is actually really good, and we should, as much as we downplay some of these big corporations, when they do stuff like this is good, and we should call it good, despite the fact that, they are kind of have a habit of being greedy. They should at least get positive praise, because hopefully this positive praise will push them to continue to do the good things. And so I want to give this a shout out as the first thing to really point out. This is really, really a good move for Blizzard, and I hope they continue to do this. We all know that you can afford to, Blizzard. We all know that you posted your highest win rate of financial money coming in and showering you with dollar bills and $100 bills and all that. We all know that you take baths and the stuff. I really wouldn't advise it right now because of what. But hey, you guys can afford it. So I'm glad that they're doing something, because we've talked about in the past how Blizzard doesn't pay, like they pay, the taxes that they pay is actually really, really, really low. So yeah, this is to be applauded. Good job, guys. Keep it up. And maybe you can learn from this, because that'd be kind of a cool thing. All right, in the other news, Riot Games has donated $1.5 million to LA's relief fund. Not refund. It would be nice if they could give more refunds, but they've gone out of their way to give $1.5 million to a handful of charities in the general area of California to help in the problems that they're facing there. Again, this is another company that is owned by a massive company that's connected to a particular government that we won't talk about too much. But as far as I've heard, the people that run Riot, they're trying to do their best, and they've had some really bad PR, in the last year. So this is actually, again, congratulations for doing the right thing, and hopefully you can maybe stick with it and maybe start to do, more of it, because this is something that you need to do, Riot. You need to do this kind of stuff more. You need to start looking out for not just yourself. So please, by all means, continue, because this is a good thing. All right, and then the next story, we've got something that just came out a little while ago. Razer has shifted some production of what they normally make, which is obviously gaming stuff, to making masks and stuff for, again, the thing that we can't really talk about. This is brilliant. There's been a number of companies that are doing this right now, and I've got to say, hey, this is actually really cool. You guys are actually doing a really, really good job on this. And this is something that we want to see more of. Not just this one company. There's been dozens and dozens, for everything from pillows to car companies. People are making things that are in need right now, and they're shifting that production over. They're coming up with innovative solutions to things. There's been some ways to 3D print masks now, which is just one step in several to make them. But this is amazing. Good job, guys. This is absolutely a brilliant move, and this is positively moving forward. All right, so for you people out there who are just absolutely addicted to Pokémon Go, you should also be happy to know that Niantic is allowing you to play Pokémon Go and go on raids from the comfort of your own home. So you don't actually have to go to these places where the raids normally take place, because the last thing they want to encourage you to do is to get into a big area with a whole bunch of different strangers and start like running around together. That's probably, not necessarily a good idea in this day and age. So this is actually pretty brilliant. I like this. This is forward thinking from the company, and I really give them credit for having gone out of their way to create and establish some, the concept of this ARG game in the real world, getting people out, getting them walking. And they've they really have like learned how to like cope with things quite quickly. And so again, pretty cool shout out here. The other thing that caught my attention is that Microsoft is allowing all educational content for free right now in Minecraft. So this is all stuff that has basically been approved to be educational, and that has some way of giving access or giving information that kids are going to find interesting, that they're going to learn from. And this is an interactive learning experience. Everything from the space station to a whole bunch of like Greek mythology and a bunch of other things. All of this stuff is free right now. So if you have a young kid that at home, your kid, relative's kid that likes Minecraft, there's a ton of stuff that's free right now, and you can start accessing this stuff like literally today. So, and it'll be free up until currently right now it's free up until June 30th. So that's pretty awesome. So check that out, because that's again Microsoft doing something that should be applauded. All right, so now Nintendo, actually this time, Nintendo is donating 9,500 masks to emergency services, which is really good. These apparently are the good stuff. They're doing it to the local government in their area, and this is again pretty awesome. We want to see more of this stuff. We want to see more of these companies doing this. So this is kind of cool, and. Insert all the Dr. Mario puns that you want to. Next, of course, we covered this. CDPR Red has donated $1 million to combat the thing going on right now, and they're working with a Polish NGO to raise funds for additional medical equipment. Again, in a scenario like this, it's the fact that it's a strain on the medical system. At any time you can go to a hospital and say, hey, broke my arm, and they're going to say, cool, we'll get that fixed up for you as quick as we can. And in scenarios like this, they say, oh, sorry, we can't do anything for that right now because of all this other stuff that's going on, and there's no space, and we can't perform this right now. And that leads to other problems, that leads to other problems, that leads to other problems. So yeah, it's a thing to be a little bit cognizant of, that a lot of places, they don't have the infrastructure to really quadruple their normal load in at the snap of a finger. And so when these companies are coming and they're going through and they're making sure that their local areas can do that by donating more equipment, by getting them access to more infrastructure, that kind of stuff. Again, this is if everybody helps out, not just the local government, but if everybody is helping out where it's needed the most, things like this tend to just go better. So again, kudos wonderfully to CD Projekt Red for doing that. Congratulations. And the last thing that I want to talk about is something it's an article that came out not too long ago. This is something that isn't really connected to the ongoing story right now, but this is still very interesting. So Gabe Newell gave this interview where he was talking about how he ended up doing WoW gold farming back in the day to kind of experiment. He didn't need the money, but he wanted to see how it worked and how it functioned. So he actually set about trying to replicate it, and he made a cool $20 an hour. This was way back when it first launched, and he realized at this moment that everybody can be a content creator or can have a place in the marketplace of games. So here's quoting from him. It says, "We were, at the time, thinking of everybody as a content creator. There's a story of parents that called us up because they thought that we were selling their kid drugs. What happened was PayPal pinged the parents and said, your kid is exceeding our limits on how much money they can pull out of a PayPal per month. They're probably selling stolen goods or drugs because there's no other explanation. So the parents called us up and I said, he makes items on Team Fortress Workshop. He makes $500,000 a year. And that was an indication that this was a helpful way of thinking about games as platforms, and that it's informed all of our decisions about multiplayer games subsequently. And this is true because gaming is a doorway to stuff. And if you are at home right now and you're stuck and you don't know what to do, look at modding. Look at the things that you can do on the workplace, on the workshop for video games right now. Start to experiment. See if this is something that you can do. If you can take the next 500 hours at home that you didn't normally have over the next couple of weeks and months and do something creative with it, you'll not only come out of this a more creative person, a more skilled person, you might also have something to show for it too. So this is something that I would highly encourage everybody to do, is to pick up something that they didn't know or didn't think they could do and try their hand at it. Or try what other people are doing. If you like playing games, take a look at some of the games that you can play with mods now. Steam Workshop has a huge selection of great mods, as well as other sites like the Nexus and LL. There's a ton of things there that are made by local community people that are there for whatever you can possibly think that could make your game more interesting. And I would highly encourage you to do that. Certainly check out what we've made, and stay safe, everybody, because things are rough, but it's what you do with these times that will ultimately end up how you get out of these times.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.